to be live though. Any second. Yep, I'm thinking we're live. That's the one thing they don't do well here. If you're watching Zoom or Facebook, that either of you billion-dollar companies care. I don't really know when I'm live, like within even a 3-second window. It's like a 10-second window of like, hey, we could be live. Morning, Bill.
Morning, Bill.
Apologize to those watching if you just hit some inside baseball for about 15 seconds, but you know, it's what it is, right?
The frustrations of playing in other people's playgrounds.
That's always it, you know, but it's a good playground. So.
Oh man,
how was your day yesterday?
Man, a lot yesterday. I'm kind of whipped. So, you know, we were talking before we turned the cameras on that I was like, man, I was about to say I'm over this week, you know, and then I remembered that I had a really cool software. What's up,
Manish?
Where is he? Is he in here?
Waiting room. He's waiting. I'm just gonna let you know he's in the waiting room.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, bring him in. So, let's talk.
Yeah, we've got a guest. We got a guest. We'll talk all about him here when we get in here. 1 second here, right? So, welcome in.
Whoa.
What's up, bro?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Man, button the shirt up and everything. I like it.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for joining us.
I'm excited. It's nice to start the morning off with a conversation.
What happens is you get the conversation and then it's hard to go do like work afterwards, right? So like I have to have a whole other wind-up routine after having this thing with him because I'm just so jacked up. I'm like, and then I can't focus on like, you know, going to go through my email or, you know, my CRM or anything else. So I do this and then I've got a rewind up process for work because he gets me all jacked up.
It's funny. Cool.
How are you, man?
How does this work?
And we just talk about productivity and what's going on and what we're trying to improve at is really kind of what it boils down to. We wanted to have you on because you have like the tool to make everybody better.
Actually, I should probably grab stuff for the shower.
While he's grabbing that, I'm going to show you guys over here what it actually looks like. So I'm going to share my screen and show you his tool here, which is super cool. So
this thing is awesome.
Right here. It's called Pavlov, right? So obviously Pavlov is at the center of it, right, Manish?
Yeah. Basically, I had a lot of trouble focusing and staying focused when I was younger. I was one of those people who would always like start new projects and start a new one without finishing the last one. But I started to notice that like in college, when there was a deadline, right when the time was due, I would always finish a paper like just before the deadline. And often I would get like a decent score. So I would feel internally like I messed up, but like externally, I was getting like similar results to other people at school. And I started to think like, how could I try to engineer that into my life? Especially after college ended, like you don't have those deadlines anymore. And so suddenly I wasn't productive. So I ran this blog, and on the blog, I would do experiments on myself, and my readers would vote where I would go and what I would do. And in one of the experiments, I tried to become more productive. So I wanted to write more. I've been like, you know, doing nothing. I would travel the world and I was trying to write for my blog, and all I wanted to do was write 2 articles a week. And it literally took, you know, it takes an hour or 2 to write 1 article, but I would never once hit 2 articles a week, not once in like 3 years. And so, you know what I mean? It's crazy. And so there's no real deadline. And so anyway, I decided to hire this girl to sit down next to me. And the job was for 1 week for 2 or 3 hours a day. She was going to sit down next to me. And every time I stopped writing, she would slap me in the face.
like how hard on like a scale of 1 to like roundhouse?
Like Craigslist to her. Yeah, I'll show you on here it is. Share screen. Oh, can I share my screen?
Yeah, 1 second. As soon as you did that.
You set it up? Let's see.
We got to give you permissions, I think.
Yeah, I gave permission.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just giving you co-host because it won't give anything else.
Now I have the power. All right, I got it. So yeah, this was from the thing. It was minor, and like the slap didn't hurt, and like it was. But the interesting. Let's see if this still loads. No, No, they got
300,000 views. That's awesome, man.
But more than that, the next day I woke up to 80 missed calls, and it was from NPR, from Anderson Cooper, from Jimmy Fallon show, and they had I went viral all over the world. And you can see right here, Jezebel, procrastinating programmer employs women to motivate him. That stuff is crazy, right? Like, why I hired a girl to slap me on Craigslist, it's all over. And so anyway, for 3 days I was famous. And most importantly, in those 3 days, and in the time that she worked with me, I wrote 4 months of content in like 3 or 4 days. I wrote like 8 or 10 articles because for 2 to 3 hours. And the thing is, the slap was like funny, and yeah, she would use it as a threat if she caught me, but it was more of a joking thing. It was this was what happened. It was having another human being that I was working on a project with, that I was working on at the same time. And by having another human being do that, it became a social activity. And the slap was the fun game part. So anyway, that went really viral. And I thought to myself, oh man, this is great. And then 3 days later, nobody cared. And I said, oh no, how do I write the story again? How do I redo the press cycle? And at that time I said, all right, why don't we take like a dog collar that zaps dogs and use that and set it up for humans, hook it up whenever I go on Facebook, it'll give me a zap. So a friend of mine, I called a friend of mine, and he's like, yeah, man, I think let's go to Radio Shack. Let's do it. And so anyway, we go to Radio Shack, we rip apart a dog collar, we hook it up with an Arduino unit, we set it so every time I go on Facebook, it triggers a zap. And we make this really funny video I'm going to post and send to all that press. And I was like, wait, the last minute I didn't post it, I thought to myself, this is actually really interesting because there's a million wearables out there that track what you do, but this one's actually changing what I do. Maybe there's something deeper there. And so that was the idea for what I built, a company called Pavlov. So this is the Pavlov 2 on my wrist right now. At its core, it's a wearable device that that vibrates, beeps, and can release electrical stimuli in patterns that it's asked to do. So it's triggered by internal sensors. It can be triggered by manually pressing the button, or you can pair it to the phone, and then it suddenly can be triggered or trigger infinite things. And it's like, when you think of it just as a stimulus device, most people kind of think about the zap, and that's what their head floats to, right? Mm-hmm. But really, in the last year to the last 2 years, we've really been figuring out what motivates human beings, and we're finding that there's this key problem that I think you guys will resonate with, and it's that I think our world is.
Hold on, real quick, Manish. Can you stop sharing your screen so we can?
Yeah. Also, I talk a lot, and it's like I didn't sleep much, so.
No, you're good. I like it.
Are we good? Is it still?
No, you're totally fine.
Yeah, cool. Because I
jam.
I didn't give you guys the link where my assistant, if he catches me talking too much, he sends me a beep and then a zap if I talk too much. So you guys don't have that option, so just in case. Anyway, it's like that Black Mirror White Christmas episode, where he's like trying to go and the guy's like trying to meet women, and he has like the person who can see through his eyes. I don't know if you remember that episode.
No, I've not seen a single episode of Black Mirror.
That's your homework for next week.
Okay.
But no, what I was saying is that I basically we started to realize that these stimuli could be effective and useful and really what motivates people. So like if someone gets the device and we found out like if they get zapped at 100% on the first zap, like they never use our product. Like the first like 800 people who bought or the first like 2,000 people who bought our product will never use our product again because they have an aversive shock. They got Pavlov to Pavlov. And so as we started to understand what things do, we realized that the way in which you use stimuli can be used powerfully. So like recently we've been doing these things where you have like your rescue time hooked up to your timers. So rescue time is your productivity score. And when you get a low, over the last 30 minutes, it gives you a score. And if your score is less than 50, it'll give you a beep. And if it's less than 30, you get a zap. So you don't want to get unproductive. But if your score gets to 80, you suddenly get vibrations. Now you know you're in the good mode. Oh, you don't want to lose it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And as we add leaderboards on, you'll see your friends that you're competing against and who's in the productive mode more, right? So yeah, that's really what we're trying to do is how do we sorry about that. How do we break the loop that people are in, and how do we snap them out of the loop and help them change those, like the trigger that triggers a habit. Like triggers cause habits. We insert ourselves in between the trigger and the response, and let you rewrite what that habit becomes. And the more we do it, the better we get at it. And it's just fun to do it because no one else is even trying.
What's the best like habit or practice or something that somebody has built using this tool?
Our API, we did a API hackathon in the early days. Since then, I'd say like I've read, like I used to do these Tuesday night projects where every Tuesday night I would write a new integration. So I wrote really fun ones, but the ones that were written by other people, one was, well, the video game, the gaming one that is a first person shooter. It's like hooked up to Unity. And when you shoot the gun, it vibrates your wrist. It's like a rumble pack for your wrists.
Whoa.
Actually, I can show you that one. And then another one was it hooks up to your Google Calendar, and then it knows your location, so it knows when you have to leave to get there on time. So 10 minutes before that, you get a vibration, and then if you miss it, you get a zap, and it auto texts.
Oh man, I need that. Late. I need that in my life.
Yeah,
that's cool. Huge.
I'll show you this. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just have lots of questions. What's the biggest thing you've learned about this with like humans and all of the, and like trying to be productive and accountability? Like what's the most shocking thing you've learned about, the audience?
Yeah, it's interesting because you start to understand people more and more, and you realize that people don't realize that. I think the thing that you guys will understand is that like a lot of people don't. You probably already know this. It's like the rider and the elephant, that we have multiple selves within ourselves, and that most people really do think of themselves as unified. And it really is really fascinating because it's like, I don't know, when you've been thinking in terms of multiple brains for a decade, you stop remembering what it felt like to not at least believe that,
Yeah.
And so every time I start talking to people, I always assume they're on my level, at least there. Like that's like baseline habits, right? Like that's like baseline habit stuff. And and when they're not there, you're like, oh shit, I got to deal with like cognitive dissonance. Yeah. Like I got to deal with them like making up stories that you already know are false, and you're like, so I think the most fascinating thing is that most people don't have any understanding of themselves, and that a small amount of effort, a small amount of understanding can really, really lead to change. Yeah.
Dude.
I want to know what you think the next level of this is, because like you're saying, everyone's so baseline, and you're just trying to get them to baseline right now to understand.
Yeah.
So what's the next?
I think the level of like when you say next level, what do you mean? What we're doing or what?
Yeah, Pavlov. Like, what's the next thing?
Yeah. So the next level, I'll show you exactly what the next level is. Here's the key. All right. So what we really are trying to do is create an ecosystem in which people I believe that we can know people better than they know themselves. All right. And I believe that, so I've been like in small things, like for example, I have been traveling to people's houses during quarantine and like watching people's lives, like my sister who has kids and like the way that people don't notice that there's ways to improve their lives in very minor, like small things, like buying like the right kind of leash for the dog, buying the right kind of door that opens up automatically, buying the right things, like the right Bluetooth cameras, you know what I mean? All these things that work. They don't realize that there's solutions and like ways to make their lives better and more efficient and happier. So here's the key of what I'm trying to do. We are trying to essentially, in the end game, create a worldwide, like essentially habits MMORPG that connects people to other people who are trying to do quests that are aligned with their personality type, so they can make the world a better place, right? And it's a very grand mission. I can't go into everything, but the key part is that the first 21 days, we want to bring people into our ecosystem in a way that's really optimized for who they are. And it's not always about games. I mean, it's not always about habits. So like, for example, we have a product called Stop the Craving, and we've been helping people who have, who want to be more mindful while they eat, change their habits. And so we surveyed those people and we found out, yeah, exactly. So Jake is a great example of, after our survey, we discovered our key customer avatar for that role, for that job. And that is, her name's John. Her name is Jen. She's a 35-year-old woman with 2 kids. And yeah, she just doesn't have enough time when she gets home from work to focus on cooking well. So you can see Jake fits right there. But the key is that, like, in the 21 day, the product that we're trying to solve for that user, the first 21 days for that user is, it's a different story than if someone wants to fast, or if somebody wants to do something else. For her and for many habit change things, we focus on the first 5 days of them getting a baseline. And then for the next, then we offer them 2 to 3 experiments that they can choose to do. And then we have them do those experiments, and they make a bet on what percentage chance they will actually follow through with their experiment. And basically from there, if they do a good job, we find the results and see if it works. And if they didn't do a good job, then we help them coach them down the habits path, right? But that's for that first 21 days. once while they're doing these 21 days, there's like they're unlocking these things in the app. They're unlocking the new screens. They get to their earning points before the big reveal when they unlock day 21, right? And when they get to day 21, it unlocks the real Pavlov app, which is the full community, the MMORPG style of this, what we're doing. So what I was trying to get at is that habits aren't the only thing, right? So we realized that what we've done is created a way to deliver push notifications, to deliver data through touch. And so that means that while one group might be women who want to lose weight, another group might be young children, like teenage, obviously 21 and older people who are going to music festivals, who want to listen to music, and now they can feel vibrations of the music on their wrists, like a second baseline. Or in our case, what we did here was with gaming. We just created like a demo game that like, you know, you run around and when I shoot the gun, it vibrates like this, right? And so you can imagine creating, I hired a few people to like just make up a bunch of demo games and import our little like duck hunt and stuff with motion tracking, because we can measure the hands, add in the Oculus VR, and you can actually maybe shoot the gun. And it's actually pretty easy, which is crazy because it's all like templates are online.
Yeah.
And so what I'm getting at is what we want to do is optimize to bring in people for these 21 days and things that are really cool to me that like bring people into this ecosystem. That's what we're trying to do. And then once they're here, we help them they already trust us after this point. We help provide them with the information and the services and products they need to make their lives become the lives they want. That's it.
Man, I love how, because like when we first talked about this, I was thinking just very narrowly about just like habit creation and habit reinforcement and things like this. But all the stuff you're talking about now, man, I love how open the world is past like the jumping off point for me specifically, right? Like the application of this thing is just so wide, and I think it's legit.
Yeah, it's got a lot of potential, and you can see it, and the world doesn't see it yet because it's still like, I mean, I haven't really talked about any of this stuff. We've been in like a redev phase for like 3 years. So it looks like everyone thinks of us as the Shark Tank company that shocks you, right? But like it's, you know, you have to go slow before you can go fast. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna let you do your thing today, but I have a challenge today for myself, which is my bet for today is I have to at least do 1 set of squats and 10 push-ups in the gym, or at least $25 to my family.
There you go.
Gotcha.
I'll see you later, guys.
Thanks, Manish.
Take care.
Appreciate you.
Dude, pretty freaking legit.
That's something. They're doing something over there.
Man, I love his energy, dude. He was like that on the first call, you know, and we're talking about me to like trying to find him a salesperson and stuff like this, and he was like, "Let me show you this thing," and I dig it. Like if you're not that fired up about the stuff that like you're building, you know, maybe you should be building something else. I just think, man, I love the whole thing. You know, he's super fired up.
Very driven.
Yeah, very driven for sure.
All-nighter still hopped on with us.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, maybe we rain check because I've had the all-nighter and it might be a little kind of off, you know, like.
Yeah. Pulling back the curtain a little bit, he was in the bathtub whenever we were like chatting this morning, trying to set all this up, and he was like, guys, you know, it was a long night and, you know, we might need to audible, but man, dude came in like a trooper. Like that was awesome.
Yep. That's awesome. Yeah. I love the connection point of personalizing it based on personality and then connecting it to a goal that you want. It's a little bit more. That's cool, man. Well, whew. I mean, where do you go from there?
Well, let's talk about it, because if only you'd had that this week, you might not be having to lose your bet today, man.
Could be for sure. Yeah. Now I want one. So
oh yeah.
I was like, that's cool. That's pretty cool. Okay. Buzz me when I do something. Yeah. But now and so that speaks to me about stuff I'm passionate about is once you can tell a story and people can get in the vision with you you can step into that story now I see where he's taking things. I'm like, all of a sudden I'm excited about it. And I was not 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So that's the power of putting people in a story. And
no, his story is solid about, you know, trying to be more productive and literally doing everything he possibly can to be as productive as possible.
I love the slot bet.
I mean, I do as well. I think it's crazy because like he seems like such like a focused guy, like high energy, but pretty focused, that he needed to hire someone to create to make sure that he created 2 blog posts per week. Like, I mean, that's crazy to me. But good for him for knowing himself well enough to go out and find that stuff, as opposed to beating himself up or not taking action at all or anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think that's something else that, you know, kind of like purpose and like this big why, like he wants to change the world. That's the type of stuff that causes you to go, okay, I don't care what this takes. I'm going to go find a way to make it work for me.
For sure. Yeah. He showed me the prototype of the newest one. And he's been showing it on Facebook. So it's actually small enough that it can strap onto your iWatch. So if you're already wearing an iWatch, yeah, you could have this on there as well. So that way you're not having to wear like 2 wearables and stuff like this if you're already invested in that ecosystem. And
which is really smart.
Yeah, it looks very, very smart. But yeah, super solid dude, actually. I was pretty blown away. And he knows a bunch of other people that we like look up to, because, you know, we didn't talk about this there, but that's Ramit Sethi's brother. So he knows.
No, Ramit, go read any of his books.
Yeah, go read his emails. His emails are solid. He does a lot of like help, a lot of value. And yeah, that's his brother, which I had no idea the first time I talked to him. So very, very cool guy.
Yeah, talented family right there.
What's that?
It's a talented family.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, focused family.
Talent's
a bad word.
There's definitely talent there too, though.
You think so?
Yeah.
And I take such a hard line on like talent and most people's view of it. Like a couple of months ago, we were watching America's Got Talent, and I was feeling particularly salty. And I was like, well, they should call this America's Got Focused, you know. And my whole family was just like, oh, you know, like, come on.
I probably would have been in that camp too then, because we have both. We get both. We have talents and levels, and then we focus or we don't.
Okay, so what do you think of your skill set as a talent that you do better just naturally than other people do, just because of who you are and not the work you've put into it?
Yeah, strategy. I can see things. I can see downfield. I have nothing to do with it. It's built into my brain. I can, improve it. But there's like, that's like saying that Michael Jordan wasn't a more naturally talented basketball player than any other schlub. He had a natural level of talent that he started with that was more than others. He just had such focus. He took it to its peak potential, right? But like Michael Jordan at average was still better than everyone else at average. He just also added the stuff on top of it. I think like most people, like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, like guys like that, they're such extreme fierce focus in what they did. That's what people focus on. But they still were super talented, like physically.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to like speak for like anybody else, but like I just know that whenever anybody comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, John, you're really talented at that," the things that they say that I'm really talented about are things that I don't come from talent, right? They come from just like a lot of reps and a lot of practice and a lot of.
I don't completely agree with that.
Interesting.
I think there's for sure. I think that's the part that we recognize in ourselves for the reason why we're good is like. I have a standard set of tools that I was given, but I am proud of the amount of focus and work I've put into it. So when you tell me I'm talented, I go, no, I did this. I worked hard. I focused. Yeah. So that's how I think about it.
It's funny how he was talking about that. He just kind of assumes that everyone is kind of familiar with like, you know, self 1, self 2 stuff.
Yeah.
And I was gonna like make this comment, but you know, he was talking, but this should be a shirt. Do you even self 1, bro? Like that should be make every day a Thursday. Do you even self 1, self 2?
Yeah. We want to self 2. Do you even self 2, bro? Or do you self 1 all the time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you even self 2? And everyone would be like,
huh? But the most inside baseball shirt ever.
Yes. And on the back, if you know, you know.
Yeah,
hashtag. And then I would spit on those people too. Even if I was wearing the same shirt, I'd be like, God, you're horrible. That's so inside. Nobody even knows what you're talking about, and I know what you're talking about.
Those are the best ones. Like I wanted to make a shirt for a long time that said, "Do you even float?" for like float tanks.
Yeah,
you know, because like I love those.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know, inside baseball. But like, here's the deal: like with the internet, everything's inside baseball. Like
that's true.
Go find like the community, and as Jake calls them, tribes. The communities around all of these. All of these things are so deep, you know, like go
much deeper than you think.
Yeah, I was thinking about this last night. Think about all the people who are known and kind of big on YouTube just because they can bypass all of the BS that normally stops people like in the creative industries and things like this, right? So it's not you don't have to go fill a 500 person venue to start getting traffic and stuff like this. It's just like, I'm just going to put this out on YouTube. So imagine all the people who are known, right, and have audiences and stuff like this that would not, if this was 15 years ago and the internet wasn't here. Like it's fascinating, right? And I was thinking about that because normally I kind of have a negative stance on the internet, about the internet, but like what it's doing to us as humans, which is weird because I make a lot of money or not a lot of money, but I make money from the internet.
Make a living. Yep.
Yeah. So it was, but like thinking about that yesterday, I was like, man, there are so many people who get to do the things that they love without all the fight that, you would have had to, and the shutdowns and everything else. So
I'm curious. So Levi says, good morning. The passion that drives the reps is the talents. No, that's not what I was saying. I was actually going to ask everybody, do you think people are born with a specific amount of talent and then their focus allows them to just, ramp it up or add to it or level it up or whatever? Or do you think everything that you have is based on how focused you are on growing it? So I'll be interested to see what they say. No, Levi, I'm saying you have a baseline, and my baseline might be higher than your baseline in a certain area. And the amount of focus we put on top of it is where you end up with it. That's mine.
Yeah. And I think that might be the better point that we're both trying to talk about here, is that like talent is not going to like necessarily get you there, because as we were just talking about, because since the world is so connected, if you're a middle player, it's going to be hard to compete, right? Because there's just so many people and so much content and so many companies and ideas and everything else like this. So like, talent isn't enough, right? So even if I'm here, right, and they're here, sorry, I've got the ice pack on. If I'm here and they're here, right, just in a natural skill set, call it sales, whatever. But if I put in the work and they don't, that's the thing for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then you start getting into strategy, which is what I love. You can just go find a really, really small niche that you don't even have to be that talented in. You just have to be focused in.
Confident and competent.
That's right. Confident.
Dude, how was yesterday?
It was good. Let's see. I ate well yesterday. That's the part of the bet that I failed this week, but I didn't let it throw me off yesterday. Good. So I ate well. I got my longest walk in this week. So that was good. And I got to hang out with a buddy last night, which was really cool. I hadn't seen him in a while. Let's see. Got all my stuff done. I got my list half done for my VA. So I got to look at some samples yesterday, and it's looking really good. So I'm actually going to start doing some cold outreach today on my list.
Nice.
I'm excited about that. It was a good day. How about you?
And so I saw a piece of tech around SMS marketing and messaging and stuff like this that on the call, I was kind of like, I'm not really sure that I need this or want this, and I was trying to like figure it out. But then by the time like 8 o'clock came around last night, I was fired up about it. So really like I've been on this waiting list for so long, because we talked about this yesterday. I was like, I've got a call on my calendar that I don't even remember what it's for. And so then we got on the call, and she was like, oh yeah, community. And I was about to bail. I was about to be like, yeah, I don't think I need this, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw the demo of it, and then I kind of sat on it and thought about it. Because like for me, the thing that we have been talking about is like having one main point to send everybody to, not like, hey, go check out John Small Mountain or go sell Surdown or Morning Bill or anything else like this. I just want one point of contact. Right. And this thing is going to allow me to do that. So I'm going to have one phone number that's not my phone number, because I don't want everybody to have that. And I say, cool, if you ever have a sales question, sales thing, anything else like this, text this number, and then what I can do is I can push out updates like, hey, new Morning Bill, new this, new that, go check this out kind of stuff. So
very cool.
Yeah, incredibly excited about it, because I can't wait to move off of my reliance on Facebook.
Yes, exactly.
And then let's see, client session went good. We talked about money for the spot that he's hiring for. He's in a really interesting spot, because he's looking for a sales co-founder, essentially, right? Someone who can be the day-to-day person, also handle the selling, and also kind of want a seat at the table, right? So he's putting in some base. We're gonna have some really cool opportunities with it, and yeah, super fired up for that. And then, I met a guy who wants to do some really unique marketing for financial advisors. And so since I've got a background in there and used to have my licenses, Jake did as well. Then we kind of talked about that and the hurdles of it. And I gave him some ideas, and I was like, oh, you should do it this way. And he was like, oh yeah, that's way, way, way better. So super cool to get connected with him. And then we got to go meet Alice's teacher last night, which was awesome. They got Chromebook. She got the teacher she wanted. Really, really cool guy. Do not remember his name, but yeah. Today is light, which is a godsend because I've got a bunch of blocking and tackling and like little bitty projects and stuff like this to like knock out today.
Same.
And yeah, that's kind of it. This is my icing. So I met that. I'll be in this new tool system for part of the day. So I'll be knocking out the bet on that. And then what was my other thing?
Had something to do with writing, didn't it? I can look. It's like I don't have yours written right in front of me.
I wrote them down earlier, but I did not do a good job of bulleting it. So
I need to start putting yours on my board. Okay. 3 book.
Oh yeah. The calls about the book thing. Yeah. Reach
yeah.
outs.
Okay. Yeah. And 3
I
hours.
I did way more.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Mine was the VA task. Hire that and task it, and I actually got it hired out, and I'm getting stuff back. 5 workouts, which I did, and then eat my pre-prep dinners, which I did not. So I've actually already paid $500 to, I'm not even going to say.
Don't even say.
A place I didn't want it to go.
It doesn't matter where it is.
Angry.
Right? Because, the thing is, the thing that's important is that he doesn't want to pay this group, right? And that's the most important thing. So it doesn't really care what the group is, but it should hurt a little bit, right? Because if it's a cause you believe in, then you might talk yourself into being, you know what, they deserve the money this week.
Yeah, it was okay. It was meant to be.
You start to slip down the slope, which is not helpful at all.
Yep. But I'm maybe get myself a Pavlov. We'll see what happens there.
Dude. Oh, I have a code. He gave me a code. I'll show you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Inside baseball.
Yeah, inside baseball. I mean, not for free or anything, but
no.
A decent discount for sure.
Awesome. Cool. Well, so what's your goal for next week?
I mean, that's a good question. I need some new prospects. I need some new leads, stuff like this. I think that my business bet next week is to streamline some processes, right? This team that I have brought on to help with the Go High level stuff is really, really solid at like other integrations. So I think what I might do is spend some time looking at all my stuff with them, seeing what they could automate, connect, zap, all that stuff to make my life a little bit easier. Because, I know about all that stuff, but I don't know like everything that it's all capable of. So sometimes there's some strategy in there when you're building out zaps and automations that kind of make sense to do it a certain way. I need to get Sales Lab out there. I think what I need to do next week is go ask 100 people to come to Sales Lab. 100 people via like DM and stuff like that. Like, hey, like just come check this out. 2 weeks for free. If you get any value out of it, we'll have a conversation about you continuing. But this is just about how to have better sales conversations. Like this is it. And kind of go from there. So yeah, I think I'm going to do 100 asks for Sales Lab.
Okay.
I'm going to put 3 hours into like system cleanup and automation.
Okay.
And I'll think of another one here in a second. I like having 3.
All right. So I'm going to do 10 cold outreaches per day for mine to the group. To the accountability group. And then I'm going to go with 3 days of 100% eating my stuff. So I'm gonna start with just a lower number and hit that one first.
Okay. So hold on though, because I kind of want to dig into this thing.
Okay.
What was the thing that made you not want to eat your prepared dinner last night, or the night before? Excuse me.
This is one of those weird ones where I'm not sure I really know what the trigger is. It was just like, I don't want to.
Okay.
I would rather eat something like this versus this. That's
okay. So is it important that you're not eating out, or is it important that you're eating somewhat healthy?
Healthy.
Healthy. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Would it make more sense to do something like a Snap Foods or like a Blue Apron or something else like that for those 3 days? So that way it's not just chicken and vegetables. It's not like the same kind of prepared food, but you get a little bit of like option.
I don't think so, because I like to cook and I have multiple options. I don't have the same thing every night. I typically have 3 or 4 options so that I just cook it all. I think it's less about, it's a mental hurdle versus I don't like this food, because I like the food that I make for myself. Mm-hmm. It's not a matter.
So what happened? You like the food?
I don't know. That's part of the problem. That's why I haven't been able to lick it yet, I don't think, because I don't really think I know what the trigger is. Maybe that should be part of my, I don't know how I guess I can just report back on it, like ask myself, kind of journal it out. Yeah. Like, and in the moment, why do I, and try and get something out.
That's the thing, right? If you have a meal and you're just feeling compelled to like not eat the thing that you did, make that the moment that you go journal, right? And you do like your 5 to 7 whys and stuff like that, and kind of work through that process. Like I think that's a way better BIL bet.
Okay. Okay.
Thinking about it.
I'm on it. And then let's see. The personal one will be going through the book with my son, because we're not done with that, and we did move very, very fast. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be the next. That'll be the personal one too. Let's see how many chapters. We'll do Wednesdays are out. Friday. 3 days. We'll do 3 days of book study for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I need to find something to do on the personal side, but yeah, I gotta figure that out. No fitness stuff, because this wrist thing is still annoying.
Have you thought about getting it looked at?
So I've had this more or less kind of same wrist issue in the past, and last time I had it was about a year ago, I would say. And I was meeting with a client, and I was wearing the brace, and he was like, "What's up with your wrist?" And I was kind of talking about it, and he was like, "Oh, you have a skateboard fracture." And I was like, "What's a skateboard fracture?" And he was like, "Well, it's this thing that happens to skateboarders because they fall off and they land and they jam, and then what happens is it breaks like one of these like little bitty bones like up in here."
Yeah.
And that made me like terrified, right? Because I was doing jujitsu and takedowns and like landing, and I was kind of like, yeah, maybe that's it. And so I went and saw Al. God, it's always nice to have a dude like Al in your network. Yeah. And he hooked me up with an X-ray. And it wasn't broken. So it kind of feels like I haven't done anything traumatic to it, right? Like I was doing the handstands, and I was starting to twinge, and I was like, you know what, I can man through this, right? It's all about the 100 days, not about my health. I was optimizing for the wrong data point.
That's right.
And kept going and kept going and kept going, and then all of a sudden it was like really hurting. So I should have been a little bit more aware and a little bit more patient. But those are neither one of my strong suits. Well, the patience is not a strong suit. I think I'm kind of self-aware these days.
Well, I wonder if it's more because like I sprained my ankle when I was in high school playing basketball, and it's just never been the same. It's one of those like tendon, soft tissue injuries where it's just kind of just sits in there. And unless you do very, very specific therapy for like soft tissue around the whatever, it'll always just kind of be there.
And I hope that's not the case, because this thing sucks. And based upon how bad it was earlier, or the last time because I had this when I was at the jiu-jitsu camp last summer, right? So last summer I went to a jiu-jitsu camp for like 8 days up in Maine. I got to meet a bunch of like really cool people, including Jocko, and that was legit. And but like for the first 3 days, like I just had my wrist like bandaged because I couldn't have like the regular amount of flexion and stuff like this. So
yeah,
it feels the exact same. So I'm just kind of waiting for it to kind of ride itself out, and trying to use ice to make that a little bit quicker of a process this time than it was last time.
Yep. Hopefully that works out well.
Dude, me too, man. I'm because right now it makes me even like a little hesitant to like get on the bike, because it's like I'm going to be putting a bunch of like pressure on the wrists, so yeah, I'm ready for it to be.
Yeah. Well, I know for me, for example, like I quit, I was a CrossFit guy years ago and hurt myself because my back and hip alignment's just not in great shape for all the types of stuff that they do. So I went to something a little bit lighter weight. And then that was working well. And then like even last year, I had to stop doing mountain climbers, in which there's no weight involved, but you just, the way you torque and like pound on your hips, the way when you're doing that, just my body can't take it. I've injured myself multiple times doing mountain climbers. And so it's just one of those things where you have to go, all right, my body's not built for this specific type of exercise. What other type can I do? And your wrist niche may be one of those things where you just can't put a lot of flexion on your wrist anymore, just to find something else that's challenging to you, but doesn't involve any sort of severe flexion on your wrist.
I hope that's not the case, right? Because like in so much of like the things that I do, like outside of work, right? Like Kung Fu and Jiu-Jitsu and bicycling, like all of these things require.
That maybe would have damaged it in the first place, which is why you're there, Maybe.
I don't know. But the idea of like not being able to like palm strike and work on Kung Fu and stuff like that is, I can't spend a whole lot of time thinking about that today, or else I won't get anything done.
Yeah, that's right. Save that.
Yeah, save that for when we know it to be true.
Cool. Well, let's do a jump off here, because I got a hard today. I got to go carpool. So, anything else we need to?
Man, I don't think so. Man, have a good day. Do you need anything from me today?
I would love that
video. Yeah, video.
Yeah, the Loom video for the stuff for that smart page, and then I was gonna, when we got off here, remind you about that code, because I think I'm gonna go ahead and get one. So
cool. Yeah, I'll shoot it over to you.
Cool, man. All right. Well, enjoy your day, Bill.
Go get it, Bill. Thanks.
Feel it. All right.